This hour, the rand has slumped against the dollar after the U.S. president's tweet on South Africa's land debate.
Trump tweeted that he had asked the U.S. Secretary of State to closely study the South Africa land and farm seizures and expropriations. The U.S. Department of State contradicted Trump's tweets, though, saying that it was aware President Ramaphosa pledged that the land reform process will follow the rule of law.
Another controversial Trump tweet.
President Donald Trump has just tweeted that he has asked his Secretary of State, Secretary Mike Pompeo, to closely study South Africa's land and farm seizures and expropriations and the large-scale killing of farmers. Quote, the South African government is now seizing land from white farmers. It's a quote that he is using directly from the Tucker Carlson show on conservative cable news channel Fox News.
AfriForum stands by its message.
The risk of an economic meltdown as a result of expropriation without compensation is much more severe than the risk of economic consequences of getting international support. And of course, we know that the ANC did the exact same thing in the 1980s when they went to the international community to get support against the apartheid system, and they succeeded in that. And I think the ANC and the South African government should not underestimate what's happening.
But it has met with opposition from other quarters in the country.
There is no evidence that crime is deliberately directed to white people. With regard to expropriation, all countries in the world use the expropriation instrument for various purposes, for building, for public purposes, but also for public interest.
Our land expropriation program seeks to realize the ideal of equality and human dignity. Through land expropriation, we are forcing the white people to share the land which was gained through a crime against the humanity of black people and African people in particular. Be that as it may, we must put it on record that Donald pathological liar Trump were not scared of you and your USA or Western imperialist forces. We are not the generation that is going to kneel at the statues of Western imperialism and accept to live in the indignity of black landlessness.
In apartheid and with the 1913 Act that had a very detrimental effect on millions of South Africans. And from an Agri-SA perspective, we want to be part of the solution. And it's a solution that we would need to figure out now. I mean, we don't have time 5 or 10 years from now.
And the U.S. Department of State is now doing damage control. In a statement, it calls South Africa a strong democracy with resilient institutions, including a free press and an independent judiciary. Meanwhile, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Lindiwe Sisulu, will communicate with Pompeo on what she calls unfortunate comments by U.S. President Donald Trump. She has instructed her department to meet with the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria to seek clarification on the matter today, saying it is regrettable that Trump's tweet is based on false information. Ntakwana Ngatani, SABC News, Johannesburg.